Welcome to the show tonight. We got Cody Pixley on. I had the pleasure of meeting Cody a couple weeks ago at NWT Mobridge. Just a really easy guy to talk to, so I'm looking forward to this one. He's going to tell us about his upbringing, his tournament career, and what he's got moving forward. Cody, how's it going, man?
Not too bad, man. How are you?
Good, dude. Yeah, real good. We had some storms roll through last night, and my fiance and I slept right through them. I mean, it's just tornadoes like 10 miles from town, and wake up in the morning, it's like tornado warnings all over. And so, yeah, we're alive. And so the house is in one piece. So good day.
Yeah. I may have to drive 20 hours to a lot of these NWT tournaments, but I don't ever have to worry about a tornado. So I have that going for me,
Yeah. It's crazy.
Pros and cons.
Yeah. I mean, I would take the 20-hour drive over that. Luckily, knock on wood, we haven't had any really cause too much big damage around us, but man, it was like probably a 10 or 12 year stretch where you didn't hear of any within 30 miles of us, but it seems like the last few years they've just been popping up. So
that's weird. Yeah, you guys get some crazy storms out there in the Midwest and in that area. It's nuts. I know Wisconsin, I was talking to Max earlier and they were getting hit with a pretty good one, and talked to JJ earlier. He was driving through one going home, and yeah, they get some gnarly storms out there.
Yeah, western South Dakota, which obviously borders Montana, eastern Montana, but they had like 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds. This storm, when it went through there, was like, I mean, that's just crazy. Collapsing grain bins.
It was like we were at Rock Creek on Sunday, and it was supposed to hit like at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., kind of right when we were leaving there, and it like skirted us. Like it was just to the west of where we were in eastern Montana. And they said that, like Sidney, Montana, and some of those towns, and even like, obviously Western North Dakota got hammered pretty hard by that thing. And then now it's down by you guys. So.
Yeah, it buzzed through here. Humid day. It was super humid today, but it cooled us off a little bit, and we needed that, and we needed some moisture, but we've been getting it a lot, so yeah, it's good. It's good. Sprinklers don't have to run. Yeah. Cool, man. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about where you live, where you grew up.
Yep. So I guess I don't know. A lot of people probably don't know. I was actually born in Minnesota, Pelican Rapids, Minnesota, which is like Otter Tail County, kind of by Fargo, Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls. Yeah. I lived there until I was like 5. I want to say 5 or 6 when we moved out here.
Yeah.
So that's probably where the walleye fishing background kind of comes from, right? Like, my dad, my grandpa, my brother-in-law, everybody back home, obviously they all walleye fish. And that's obviously where it all probably started and came from, was my dad, my grandpa. But we moved out here when I was like 5 or 6, and over the course of that I started fishing, and then family all started to trickle back to Minnesota, and I just stayed. So fell in love with Montana, and don't see a reason to move back to Minnesota anytime soon. So
I think for sure. It's funny you bring up Pelican Rapids, because my fiance's folks have a cabin on Otter Tail. So it's right in that same neck of the woods. In fact, one of our very first dates was, we went hiking in like Glendalough or one of those places out there, and then we went to Pelican Rapids for lunch. And it's a small town, but it's super clean town, good eateries, and it's like everything's like on a hill there, and I mean, it sticks out for sure.
Yeah, cool little town. So I still have a ton of family back there. My mom, my dad live back there. My sister. Pretty much everybody, grandparents, they all live back there. So I go back quite a bit in the summer. I don't know. I travel back there a lot, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a year. So the 10, 11 hour drive from here to there is nothing to me anymore. I've done it so many times that it's a cakewalk. So
yeah, it's a cool area. I mean, there's a ton of lakes right there, and you think of like Minnesota and the land of 10,000 lakes. Well, they count like basically they're not really sloughs, like we call just puddles sloughs, but they're small,
Yeah, there's some sloughs that are definitely called lakes in that state, but I mean, there's water everywhere. It's insane. That is the one thing I get jealous of, is like the summers in Minnesota on the lakes, and like there's so many lakes to go to, and even the winters, like all the ice fishing opportunity. Yeah. You could probably have 10 lakes within a 5 miles of your house, whereas like out here in Montana, everything's so remote. I mean, my closest body of water, I know Gage talked about it, Canyon Ferry, which is like quote unquote our local lake, like walleye fishing lake, is, I mean, it's take me 45 minutes to an hour to get there from where I'm at. And I'm just a little bit west of Gage, so I'm a little bit closer than he is. But yeah. So, I mean, it's just big, right? You got to travel a lot and a long ways, but it's worth it for all the other perks of Montana. So,
yeah, Montana's like one of those states. I think about the states I'd live in, and South Dakota, obviously, that's why I'm here. But, you know, North Dakota, maybe, Montana, definitely, Wyoming, Idaho, you know, those places like that strip of states right up in the upper Midwest that are just awesome.
I lived in North Dakota for a while, kind of out of high school. I went up there and worked for, I don't know, 3-4 years off and on, kind of doing the oil field thing. And I lived just in a town, Stanley, North Dakota, just north of Skakawea, like, I don't know, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I lived there, and it wasn't bad. The winters are just brutal up there, you know, and it's like you get extremes. It's super hot in the summer and it's super cold in the winter. It's like there's never a nice, perfect temperature season, it seems like. Or if there is, it's very short.
Yeah, it's really short. You know, here, even eastern South Dakota, well, most of South Dakota except the Black Hills, it's like cardboard with wind, you know, and that wind in the wintertime just absolutely sucks when it's 15, 20 below and blowing 20, 30 miles an hour or whatever it is. And then, like you said, like right now, I mean, it's the other day we had a heat index of like 105, you know, something, or 98, something stupid, you know, you just go.
Yeah. You probably get the humidity too where you're at in South Dakota too.
We do. Yeah. At times it gets real humid where, like, even yesterday was really humid. Obviously these storms brewing around or what leads to that. But all in all, I would, like you said, there's trade-offs for being in Montana. It's the same thing here.
For sure. South Dakota is definitely one of those states I could live in besides Montana for sure. Like if you gave me a choice between living in Minnesota and South Dakota, I'd probably find myself a spot just over the border in South Dakota as opposed to Minnesota. Like, I'd rather be a resident of South Dakota.
Yeah, this is like, we're like 20, I want to say around 20 miles from the Minnesota state line here in Watertown. And it's about as far east as you can get where there's civilization. There's some smaller towns, but Watertown's one of those towns that's pretty big for the state. And I love it, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. So we got a chance to sit down a little bit at Mobridge. I mean, we're both sitting at Sportsman's, just struck up a conversation. I'm like, this dude's cool, man. So I
beat everybody back to the house, and I was like, it was a rough day and it was windy, and I was like, I'm gonna go get a beer and a burger, and just happened to pop a squat next to you there at the bar. So
it's crazy how that stuff happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Sportsman's, there's something about the beers at Sportsman's that are just a little bit better.
Yeah, that is such a cool place. I've never been to Akaska. I've been to Oahe when I was younger with my grandpa and stuff, but like it's been so long I didn't even remember it. And it was the first time kind of being down there, you know, nowadays or as an adult. And that little town of Akaska is pretty cool. You know, everything's walking distance to the one bar where you can get food and something to drink, and you know the lake's 7 miles down the road, and you can launch right there and catch big fish, as you know. So it was definitely a cool little town, a cool little place.
Yeah, it's one of those places that I hadn't spent much time in until here and there over the last few years, but really last year. And I've just learned to love it. You know, it's just like you said. I mean, you can rent the place there or whatever and be a block away from a good place to eat. And, you know, there's not a lot of people. So, and everybody that's there is there for really one thing, and it's
they're fishing.
Walleye.
They're fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, like, we talked a little bit about your childhood, but what was it like? What was it like transitioning to Montana? Do you have like your first memories of fishing in Montana or walleye fishing in general?
Yeah. So, kind of, I guess. I don't know. Growing up, I found a friend when we moved here who happened to be, he's from here, but his dad is from Wisconsin. And so he walleye fished, and his dad walleye fished, and his dad had a nice walleye fishing boat. And between my dad and the boats he had over the years, and my buddy Chris and his dad, I mean, we spent a lot of time, and he actually has a cabin that they live at permanently now, but that up on that Canyon Ferry Reservoir. So when we were kids, you know, we'd dink around all week, go to school, whatever, this, that. And on the weekends, we'd shoot up to the lake and go hang out at the lake up there. And his dad would take us out fishing on the weekends, whatever. Like I said, when I wasn't doing that, my dad was taking us out camping, fishing here, there, Fort Peck, you know, wherever. But yeah, it was like, it was up there at Canyon Fever where we started to get more and more adventurous on our own. I would say, we weren't very old when it was like somehow convinced his dad that, hey, can you dump us in and we'll just use a trolling motor. We're only going to go out, here. And Canyon Ferry is a pretty good sized lake. It can get pretty nasty out there. Sure. And, it started from that. And then the next, few years later, we're taking the boat to Fort Peck by ourselves as 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and so it just kind of evolved. And eventually, before you knew it, we were, out on our own and running around. And, but yeah, no, I mean, we just fished for fun, and, never even knew what a walleye fishing tournament was, to be quite honest. I mean, I was in my early 20s before I even, cared to know about walleye fishing tournaments. I really had no clue. The only thing I knew about it was that every year they had a walleye fishing tournament on Canyon Ferry, and it got super busy and there was people everywhere and fishing was a pain in the butt. That's about all I knew about walleye fishing tournaments when I was, even in my teens, really,
Yeah.
So
how old are you now?
35.
35. Yeah. So you got a few years under your belt.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how old we were. It was, Chris and I actually, who we fished our first walleye tournament together. I want to say it was probably on Canyon Ferry, but I don't remember how old we were. Like, man, I'd say we were probably 22, 23, somewhere in there. I would say I kind of moved back from North Dakota when I was like 21. Right. And then we kind of started doing them, I think, is somewhere in there. So we were very early into our 20s when we started kind of dabbling, and then, kept doing Montana circuit ones and always dreamed about going to do big ones, never really thought it was realistic, but
yeah. When did you start, when was your first NWT tournament?
Would have been, what is it, 2026. So it would have been like 2022 or 2023. I mean, this is only my third full year of doing them. I had to cut it short. Was it last year? No, the year before that. So the first year I did it, I made the championship. That was when we had the championship on Devil's Lake. It was the first year I did. I want to say it was 22 or 23. The next season, I only got to do 2 of them. We were kind of in the midst of building a house and needed to focus more on that, apparently. So I was told. And then last year, fished a full season. This year, hopefully fishing a full season too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's cool. It's, in talking to Gage and stuff, I shared a little bit of this, but I'll share it again. It was a cool experience for me. I get the appeal. Obviously anyone who's fishing that has a competitive edge or like a competitive thirst, let's say, just want to compete, because there's a lot invested in, not just monetarily, but time. Right. And so I could see how fishing the whole circuit would just be freaking awesome.
It is. It's pretty cool. I co-angled one event with Gage and Wayne in South Dakota, and where was that? Chamberlain or not? Yeah. And I pretty much did it once, and I was like, yeah, I could do that, or like I wanted. I'm taking my boat next time. So the next spring is the first one I went to, and I asked those guys if I could tag along. They said that was fine. And I just had planned doing the one, I was busy. I just started my own business, and it was in Illinois on the Illinois River. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm not going to do, and then the closer it got, the more excited I got, and like looking at the schedule. And I was like, how about this? I said, if I take like top 15, I get to do the second one. Right. And I went there, and I think I tied for 11th. And so I was like, well, now I'm doing the next one. And then I went to the next one, and I did terrible. It was on Winnebago. Bombed that, because that's a shallow, finicky son of a gun. And then my excuse was, well, I did really bad at that one, so I got to try again, and then went to South Dakota.
Redemption.
And I went to South Dakota, Francis Case, cashed a check, and I was like, okay, I'm back, and I had a pretty good first year. It was okay. Cashed a few checks, so.
Yeah.
And then, once it's like, I don't know. It seems like every year I have to like convince my wife and like, myself sometimes too. It's like, all right, I'm going to do them. And then it's like, man, it's a burden. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot more money. It takes a lot of everything to do it, especially being from all the way out here where you got to drive to everything. It's just like, holy cow. People tell me all the time, like, I don't think I'd do it. I don't think I could do it. And I'm like, yeah, well, when you're competing for $100,000, that makes the drive there not that bad. And dependent on how that tournament goes, that determines how the drive home goes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's been some drives home from Erie, from, that Green Bay, that Michigan area, that have been a 24-hour trip, but it feels like 48 hours because you're like driving without the radio, contemplating what you're doing with your life, going, why am I doing this? Is so dumb. I'm not good enough to do this.
I suck. I'm the worst.
You can go to the next one and you can do well. And it's like, I don't know, so it's definitely plays games with you a little bit, but overall, like you said, it's about the competing. Like, I grew up playing sports, every sport there was, right? And like, super competitive. And once you get out of high school, right, I played hockey for another year or two after that, but like, once I realized the dreams were over, right, I was never making it to do anything in sports. I was like, what, you kind of run out of things to compete at, you know what I mean? Like, this just happened to be, I love fishing and I love to compete, so like, it just naturally came,
Yeah, well, you talk about like the expense that goes into it and the entry fees, because so you go, it's $2,000 to get in this year. Everybody's kind of, not everybody, but people are kind of anticipating that's going to go up next year. But that's like, I don't want to say that's the smallest expense, but that's not even, that's not even half of the expense when you figure in fuel in the boat. Like, even, I was talking to one of my best friends last night, and I was like, he's like, how many gallons of fuel did you go? We were talking about, so he just got a boat, and he's like, what are you getting for fuel economy in that 400? And I was like, dude, it's not good. Right. Yeah. Like, it absolutely drinks. So we figured it out what it was for the basically 4.5 days of pre-fishing and then the tournament. And it was like,
I don't want to know. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, it was more than what it cost to get into the tournament.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I didn't even think about it though, and
that's the one expense I try not to pay attention to that one. I don't pay attention to the fuel that goes in my truck and the fuel that goes into my boat. To me, it's like, pay the entry fee, pay for the lodging, your license, bait if you need it, whatever. The fuel one is just like, I just close my eyes, slide the card in, and go, I don't even want to know. Like, because I start thinking about it here and there, like, how many times did I fill up, this, and I'm like, it's just better if I don't know. It's better if I don't even calculate it. But I know how much each one cost me, roughly, and it varies a little bit, but for the most part, it's, I don't care. It costs anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000, depending, and that's entry fee and then fuel and lodging. And we get lucky. We usually split a house amongst a handful of us. So like, the lodging is fairly cheap, but still adds to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it does. It's all an expense, but it's with, like you said, I was the same way. I played baseball growing up, and then when that ran out, I was like, it was like this just emptiness, and I'm not feeling that with tournament fishing. It's not my thing. I'm going to fish a couple tournaments a year just because I love it. But just fishing in general is like that. It's almost like an internal competition, and everybody, I think, approaches it the same way. What's the next biggest fish I can catch? It's not about quantity, it's quality for me. So
and figuring stuff out too. Like, it's a challenge, right? People think fishing, the old, the thought of fishing for years was it's this relaxing, sit on the shore and toss a bobber in the water and sit there, right? And it's just like, it's so far from that. It can be that, don't get me wrong, it can be that, but it's so far from that. Nowadays that it's, it's difficult. It's a challenge. It's hard. It takes, I seen something the other day. It was like, fishing is the most frustrating, relaxing thing there is in the world. And there's that couldn't have summed it up any better. Cause like, when it's fun and when you're going, it's the best. And when it's not, you can pull your hair out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it has changed a lot, everything, I've got obviously friends and family members who their level of fishing is different than mine, or ours, or some of our friend group, but it's what you want out of it, right? That's what you put 100%. Into it.
Yeah. If you want to be the guy that throws a bobber from the shore and drinks a beer, and you can do that, you can absolutely do that. You can enjoy yourself doing that. Or if you want to be the guy with the $150,000 boat and $20,000 in electronics, you can do that too. It's kind of, you take out of it whatever you want, at the end of the day, you're catching a fish or attempting to catch a fish. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. And you get all different levels can find success, even when you talk about just like the size of the fish. I know that our state record, and I believe this is correct, but our state record was broke like two times in 3 weeks, 3 years ago. And right in between that, there was like some lady fishing off a dock that caught like a 17 or 16 pound walleye, just like drowning a worm. You know what I mean? It's just awesome.
Our state record for the longest time, it's held by a guy named now, one of my buddies. He's a guide out of Helena, which is just the next reservoir, a couple reservoirs down from Canyon Ferry, but Trevor Johnson. But the guy boat that held it before that, I think it was 17 something pounds. And he caught it from shore up at this little reservoir in north central Montana. Caught it offshore, 17 some pound walleye. And it held the record for, just kind of guessing off the top of my head, I mean, it was 8 years, I bet. And then Trevor broke it with like, I think 1802, I think is what it is right now.
Yeah. There's one up in North Dakota that it's not, for some reason, there's some drama around it. We'll go figure. But this dude caught it like fishing some river, some small muddy river. And it was like I don't even remember the weight, but it was like the pending state record. And then people said that he snagged it. And then, North Dakota Game Fishing Parks, whatever they call it up there, DNR, like sided with, I don't know, it's messed up, but this thing is just.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing it. And I think they determined eventually in the end that it was snagged, that it wasn't caught in the mouth or caught legally, which can you imagine that? That'd be quite the story. Like, I caught the state record walleye, but it doesn't count.
Yeah, that would suck.
I don't know. Montana's a cool state like that too, because like Minnesota, right? It's super hard to catch a state record. Well, I don't even know what it is in Minnesota. I think it's been held since it's like the early 1900s is when the Minnesota state record was posted, and it hasn't changed since. But they also have seasons, right? Like you can't walleye fish until 3 weeks ago. And out here, like I had the boat in the water. The only month I didn't have the boat in the water this year was January. And it wasn't because I couldn't have had it in the water. It was just because I was doing other stuff and hunting. I was probably bird hunting more than anything, but I could have had the boat in the water an hour from my house all 12 months this year.
Yeah.
So, like South Dakota, North Dakota is the same way. I mean, well, North Dakota, everything freezes in North Dakota, but they get on that river pretty early in the spring,
Yep. So. Down south they do here.
Oh yeah.
Below the dam. And I haven't gone out that early. We've had the boat in the water. I fished Oahe in December last year. That's the latest I've been out there, and it was still, it stayed open pretty much most of the year. I think it only locked up for like 2 months.
Yeah, which is super mild winter here too. Same thing.
Absolutely. So what do you do for a living?
I am a crane operator. I own and operate a small crane business, taxi crane business. So I just have a couple boom trucks and roll around the state, keep it fairly close to home. Usually my daily is kind of just around Bozeman here, Big Sky. But yeah, I crane operator. So I set a lot of trusses and HVAC units and you name it.
Okay, cool
stuff. I was doing tree removal this morning, and tomorrow I got to go set steel up in Big Sky. So it's just construction industry stuff. But so I own and operate that, and been on my own this is my 5th year, I think, which it's allowed me to go fishing more. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Probably not. It's kind of one of those, I get to go fishing more, even though I shouldn't probably fish as much as I do type of thing. It's like, give me an inch, I take a mile. And when it comes to that,
Yeah, for sure.
It allows me to go do some of those tournaments, so which is cool.
Yeah, that flexibility is important. I think a lot of guys that are on the tour that are fishing all 4 have to have that flexibility, because I don't know, maybe there is an anomaly, but I'm guessing there's nobody that's showing up, to the rules meeting and fishing 2 days and going home. If there is, not all 4, maybe there's some local that is, and I'm just going to try this for the hell of it, but it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of time that goes into it. Yeah. You mentioned the oil field. So I got a buddy who's he grew up in Rapelje, and I think he lives in Butte now, but he ran he had his own semi business, hauling business up there.
Oh, yeah.
And he did that for 10 or 12 years up in North Dakota, just hauling frac sand. And he made hay, it was really good up there for a lot of years, but I guess the living conditions up there aren't really the best.
Yeah, I don't know. I lived in man camps when I was first job I ever took there. I think I had to have been 18, and I showed up in Williston at like 9 p.m. to a man camp that I'd never been to, didn't know anybody. Got a room to some random dude from New Mexico, I think. Probably didn't sleep that night, just like laid there. Because like we shared, there was 2 beds in a room. So like you had a roommate. And if you didn't come with somebody or like predetermine who you're staying with, they just stuck you in a random room. Yeah. So yeah, I got stuck with some random, he was a super nice guy. I ended up becoming kind of friends. And sorry, my dog's just hanging out.
All good.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was nice because it was brand new. But yeah, like, I mean, it wasn't. I looked around. It didn't take me very long. I looked around at some of the guys I was working with, and no offense to them, but like, you knew very early. I knew very early on. I'm like, I'm not doing this my whole life. Like, I'm like, this is a rough life. Like, these guys have kids and wives in other states, across the country, and like they don't get to see them because they'll go to this job they'll be here for 6 months, and then they'll pack their stuff and they'll go down to Colorado for 6 months or California. And it's just like, yeah, this ain't for me, man. I'm like, I'm here because they told me I was going to make X amount an hour, and I was 18 and my eyes lit up, and I'm like, sure, okay, I can do that. And honestly, like, it worked out. I made a career out of what I went there. I didn't have a trade when I went there. They didn't even know what to do with me. I just was a laborer for a while. Yeah. I was on a job with 300 some employees, and there was these giant cranes. And one day I ran out of work. I was just picking up trash and just doing whatever. I'm like, what do you want me to do now? And they're like, go hang out with that guy in that crane. I'm like, okay. So I went and hung out with this guy in this crane. Happened to be from Montana. And I don't know, a few years later, I moved home, said I'm enough with this, and got a job with a local crane company here in Bozeman, and worked there for 10 years, and then went out on my own, bought my own, and yeah, just evolution. But it worked out. Like I said, I went there as a kid with just looking for some money, and ended up with a career out of it, stumbled into it. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't on purpose, that's for sure. So
yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about this year so far. So pretty good showing on Erie, huh?
Yeah, I had a decent tournament on Erie. I wish I had day 1 back a little bit, but it was brutal. They probably shouldn't have sent us, but I'm trying to think, somebody I just listening to, maybe it was the Last Tour Level Gold. I was watching Last Tour Level Gold. I see myself in there every once in a while. I'm like, oh, that's me. But I was watching it, and Dusty was saying, he's like, those guys didn't think they were going. Like, John, Dewey, they didn't think they were going. And Max told us, he's like, we're going 100,000%. He goes, that wind's blowing out of the southwest. He's like, at takeoff, it's going to be nothing. They're going to send us they're 100% sending us. And so I woke up, like, I knew I was going fishing. I knew it was going to be not good, but I knew we were going fishing. Yeah. And I forget how far of a run it is from there from Monroe to the islands. I want to say it's like 32 miles. I want to say. I mean, there's a point where you can't really see land. Yeah. And it was brutal. Like, and I had this gal with me, Sarah. She was fairly local, and I kind of just told her, I'm like, if it gets to be too much, just let me know, like, say something. And she was awesome. She's a champ. She's just like, do not worry about me. I live here. I do this for fun. I'm like, okay. And we went, and we'd hit a big wave, and I'd probably drop an F-bomb here and there, and she'd just kind of laugh. And I'm like, this is so dumb. Why are we doing this? But we finally made it all the way out there, and it took way longer. I think it took 45 minutes longer than I even had anticipated. And I knew it was going to take the same, if not more, on the way back. And so I lost a couple hours of fishing easily on day 1, like extra hours of fishing that I had not even prepared for. So I got out there, and I'm like, oh man, we have like 3 hours to catch these fish. Jeez. And it was hard because the wind was blowing. So like, it made it extremely difficult. And then day 2, we got a little bit of a break. It still wasn't great, but it was better. And I was just able to turn on more fish and find bigger fish. And yeah, it worked out. I didn't quite think I had 40. I think I weighed like 41 something. I thought I was going to be like right at 40, and it's wavy out there. You're trying to weigh fish. And I'm like, I don't know. It's big enough. Put it in the box. Like, it's 10-ish, 12-ish, whatever they are. And I was kind of pleasantly surprised when I came in and it was 41 something. And I knew I jumped up a lot right there. So that was kind of the goal, right? I mean, you have a not great day 1, and all you can do is go swing for it on day 2 and hope you can have a bigger bag. And I mean, I definitely left some weight out there. There was some marks that I chased for a while because they weren't like, they were pretty aggressive and like they'd eat most things, but like some of them wouldn't. And I chased a couple of giant fish out there. And if I would have got even one more of those to go, I mean, I would have had 43, 44 pounds probably, and I would have probably been top 10. So, but it was a good day overall. So
you wound up in 14th there?
15th, I think.
15th.
Yeah,
okay. 15th. I can remember it was 14th or 15th. Yeah, that's solid, man. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big field. That's 143 boats or something like that. And there's a lot of local sticks that get in those Erie tournaments, and they know what they're doing out there. So,
yeah. Had you been to Erie before that?
Twice. So the first time I went was in 2024, first tournament of the year. That was the one Hoyer won, kind of forward facing. The first like breakthrough, holy cow, you can win a tournament on Erie forward facing sonar, right?
Yeah.
And I was still pretty green to it, right? The forward facing thing. And I didn't even think that it was possible, I guess, or like even try. I mean, I did, I guess, try a little bit, but like not enough.
Yeah.
And so I was pulling bait or pulling spinners. I think that might've been the worst finish I've ever had in an NWT tournament. And I told Will Pappenfoos after the tournament, because we were working together, staying together. I told him, like, if there's ever a live scope like bite like that again, and you see me with long rods in my boat, I'm like, I want you to slap the crap out of me. And he goes, okay, fine, I can do that. So that was a big eye opener, though. It's like, okay, that was kind of the turning point for me, where it's like, it's forward facing or bust. I don't care where we're at. I don't care what we're doing. Like, I don't care how windy it is. It doesn't matter. Like anymore, it's like Max Wilson always says, if he sees you doing anything but live scoping, he always says, it's not that bad. It's never bad enough to not live scope. And I used to kind of laugh at him, but he's kind of right. Like, it's never bad enough to where you can't get him live scoping somehow, some way. Is it easier to do other things sometimes? Absolutely. But you can always get them forward facing somehow, you know?
Yeah. You look at like a Wahi, and, you know, there were a lot of guys that were cranking. But, you know, Stahl won it live scoping.
Yeah.
There were some guys that in the top 10 for sure that cranked. And I mean, that's the other thing. It goes back to what we were talking about. It's like, however you focus is like the guy that's on the shore throwing the bobber, right?
Well, right. That, and like whatever you're the most efficient at. Like, if it's so bad that you can't live scope and you think you're more efficient doing the other things, are you going to win? I mean, like Oahe proved that, yeah, you probably could have. It's still relevant, right? It's not gone out the wayside. Like, you can still win tournaments cranking.
Yeah.
It's just, if the weather's nice and there's guys that can live scope, you're probably going to get beaten. If you have the weather on your side, you can still win tournaments pulling bait and doing it that way. Or unless you're on like a river or something, you know, that's a different story too. But like big body of water, I'd say if the weather is favorable, it's probably being won live scoping.
Yeah. The selectiveness. I mean, that's what it is. You can choose what you try to catch.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah. So, but Erie 2024 was the first time I'd ever been there. And then we went back last year, 4th stop before the championship. And I kind of needed to solidify my spot in the championship. Like, I basically just couldn't bomb it, right? Like, I think I needed to take 60th or better, 65th or better, or something like that. And I don't know how many boats there were in that one, maybe 100.
Yeah.
But I went out day 1 and had a pretty good day. I was sitting 3rd after day 1. And then day 2 fell off a little bit. Ended up cashing a check for like 18th, I think.
Yeah.
So I solidified my spot in the championship, and then, you know, cashed a check as well. You can't beat that. So I got what I needed to out of that one. But in that one, like, I did not bring my cranking rods.
You left them at home.
I left them at the house. Didn't even bring them. And I was like, I'm not doing it. If I'm going to Erie again, I know now, like, what I know now is I'm going there live scope, and we did. Yeah, it was a blast. We were in the kind of the middle base. Well, no, we would have been like in the eastern basin, and it was the craziest. If you wanted to individually, you could have caught 100 fish a day, and they were all 2 to 3 pounds. Like, you were looking for 5s and 6s and 7s, but you could have legitimately caught 100 a day by yourself. Jeez. It was insane how many fish are out there.
Yeah.
And they were chewing. They were going, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I haven't been to Erie. I don't know, for whatever reason, it doesn't spark any interest. I shouldn't say any, but not a lot.
You should go just to see how many fish there are, because it's pretty mind blowing stuff. Like, just that experience alone is putting that live scope in and going, well, these can't all be walleyes, and then finding out these are all walleyes. It's pretty crazy.
Really,
it's pretty mind blowing stuff. Yeah, it's fun, and honestly, it's good practice. Like, it's not going to help you finesse wise just because they're pretty suicidal. Like, they'll eat anything, but there's so many of them, and you can kind of start to pick sizes out and like, oh, that's a smaller one, that's a bigger one, those are 3 bigger ones. Or like, you can watch your bait on them, just because like if you mess up once, like on certain lakes or certain bodies of water, if you mess up once, it might be 30 minutes before you get another crack at another one. Out there, it's by the time you reel in and go left or right, there's another one you can try again. So like it is really good for practicing and like kind of dialing in the live scoping thing. You're going to leave there thinking you're a hero on the live scope. It's pretty. So I mean, it can be good too.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. I hadn't thought about it like that. So So your tournament routine. This is the same thing I asked Gage, but I think it'd be a good one to see if there's a different perspective. Maybe there isn't, but you guys, when did you get there on? Let's talk about Oahe. So, what day did you get there?
That tournament was Wednesday, Thursday, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to say I got there. Man, I don't remember, but I want to say, I could look through my phone, but I want to say probably like the Friday before.
Okay.
I want to say. So I basically got to fish Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days, 4.5 days, basically, because they cut you short a little bit the day before the tournament, but not really. I think you get to fish till 4 or whatever it is, or 3. Yeah. So, I mean, you get a full day out of it, basically. You just get on the water a little bit earlier that day. And
yeah,
I'm sure there's some guys who only fish a little while on that last day and kind of check their stuff to make sure it's still there. I never seem to find myself in that situation. I'm usually still scratching my head and trying to last second figure something out, but that's me. So, but yeah, like 5 days, basically pre-fish.
So when you got to Hawaii, you hadn't fished it much. How did
I would say basically not at all.
Yeah. So especially that stretch. So travel team aside, like what was your approach going into pre-fishing, and you're just looking for fish and just, that's pretty much it.
We're always talking, right? And like, that's the beauty of the team. And you couldn't do, I say you can't do it. There's guys that try, and there's guys that are somewhat successful, I guess. It's so hard to do it, any of these on your own. These bodies of water are so massive. And like me, like never being to Oahe, if I didn't have the guys with me who have been there and like have some experience on it and this and that, like we all talk, right? Like chit chat this, hey, you're going to need these baits. Hey, the trees, you got to know the trees and all this, so it's like, that stuff's all worth $1 million. Like it's just, you can't put a price on all that information. And even though it's a lot different when you get there and put the trolling motor in, it's a start, right? Like, but my whole thing going into it was, I knew the trees, but the bigger trees are further south kind of. And it was the biggest question getting there was, where are these fish? Are they in North Dakota still? Are they coming back from Bismarck, or are they in the lake? And that was something that nobody was going to know until we got there. And it took us a few days. And I think we kind of came to the general consensus that they're on their way back down right now. Like the water temps are a little colder than they should be. Mm-hmm. Even up in North Dakota. And so I think everything felt like it was just a little bit late, right? Like had they had that tournament 2 weeks later, you were there, would have been silly, right? Would have been crazy weights. But it didn't take very long of us being there for a couple of days to realize, hey, this is going to be tough. Like this isn't going to be monster bags that win this thing like we were all kind of anticipating. Like it's going to be a little bit of a grind. And it was. I mean, pre-fishing the first few days, I mean, I want to say I caught 1 fish the first day. I want to say I caught 2 fish the second day. I think I caught 1 fish again the third day. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like I don't think I'm going to catch 5 fish in this tournament. Like you said the same thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just you. I think I told you that night at the bar. I'm like, look, man, there's a legitimate chance. Like I go out there and swing and miss and zero, like any of us can. It's tough right now, and the weather that we kind of got didn't help. The first day we were there, it was 80 degrees. The next day it was 80 degrees. And then after that, it pretty much just went downhill. And any kind of momentum we had been building with those fish coming down and kind of firing up, we lost like overnight. A couple storms rolled in, and it was like, yep, they're, optimistic that, hey, it's going to really fire by tournament day. Like, no, that ain't going to happen. It's going to be tough the whole time. So,
well, the thing that sucked is like Wednesday. So a week before the tournament, I'm looking at the forecast and it's like 74. So Wednesday and Thursday was like 74 and like 5 to 10 mile an hour winds for both the days. And I'm like, those are like dream days on Oahu because you just don't really see sub 10 mile an hour winds very often, Yeah. And then, of course, the weatherman's wrong and
always. Yeah, no, I packed a lot of shorts to that tournament that I did not wear. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was like putting extra layers on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I think that's what it was. That was the first night where I was like, all right, I'm not alone. That we're just sitting there at the bar and you're like, dude, you're not alone. I mean, after, finding out who you were and stuff. And you're like, I feel the same way, man. And I'm like, this dude's full of crap to make, he makes me feel better. Cause he's like,
you're probably like, this man, these tournaments are really this competitive. Like this guy's not even, he's going to lie to me straight to my face and tell me it's tough out here.
Yeah, I know exactly. I'm like, this dude's trying to sandbag. I get it. Yeah, part of me was like, he's an NWT pro. Like I would get it if you were,
Dude, I'll be the first one to tell you. We talked about this at the bar too. It's like, I'm an NWT pro, but like that's not how I look at myself. Like I go there and I look at all these other names and I still look at those names and be like, man, I can't compete with these guys. Like I have a hard time convincing myself a lot of times, it's probably a downfall in some regards to how I place and this and that, but like, that's just fishing in general. It's confidence, right? Like you can be the best fisherman in the world if you have confidence, and it's a fickle thing though. Like I lose it very easily, but the older you get, the more level-headed you can stay. And I don't know.
Yeah, you've been there, you've experienced it before, and that's one thing I learned. I mean, I've been out fishing and had crappy days, and then all of a sudden you catch a big fish at the end of the day, or or whatever it is, a couple hours in, but. That was how it was for me on day one, where I was like, man, I mean, I lost a good fish right away. Like 30, had a game plan. Finally, the day before the tournament, had a game plan, right? I'm like, all right, so go to the same spot, 20, 30 minutes in, hook into a big one and lose it. And I'm like, dang. And I didn't catch an over the rest of the tournament, just so you know. But anyway, I lose this one right away. And then it's like 4 or 5 hours before I catch a walleye. But that one fish, that I caught after losing that one was like, oh, everything's changed now. There's something in the box, that was all it's about. But what's crazy too is, so that was Wednesday, Thursday. I was there the next Monday, which was 3 days later, and it had fired. Like it was starting to fire big time. I mean, it was just, it's bad timing.
And we were talking to Dewey, and he said the same thing. He's like, 6 days, 7 days. He's like, it's going to go. And it did. Like, from what I heard and what I saw, like it definitely fired. We all knew it was coming. It was just the weather we got that week, like delayed it for just another week, and what do you do? I mean, you can't control the weather. You can't control anything, honestly. And it was a grind. It was definitely one of the tougher NWT tournaments that I've gone to. And, but now, I've been there now. I've been there. I know what to look for. I know what it's like. I know that's such a huge part of these big tournaments. And it's getting to the point now, I'm in I don't even know. This is like my third full season, right? I've been to almost every one of these places now. Granted, Oahu was a new one, right? And so, but like been to Green Bay, been to Erie, been to Sakakawea, and that's part of it, man. Like I go into it, these bodies of water where I've never been, and I have all the help in the world, right? Like I have Max and all these guys like Engage, and like Engage is kind of in the same boat too. He hasn't been to all these, but it's like they can help you out all you want. It's still tricky when you put the trolling motor in and go. Like it's hard, right? Like it's daunting. It can be very, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
When you go to a place you've been, like Erie, this is my third time at Erie. And it only took the first time of me getting my butt kicked to like figure out, okay, now I know. And I've always just kind of been that way. I've always kind of been a learner. Like I go once, and if like show me how to do it, or like show me what not to do, or show myself what not to do, and I'll know what to do the next time. And that's just kind of how I am. So like, you know, Erie, for instance, like I wasn't good. The next time I went back, had a good tournament. Third time I went back, had a good tournament. And it's just like, I know before I even put my truck and my trailer on the road out of my driveway, I know where I'm going and I know what I'm doing before I even leave. Some of these other tournaments where I've never been to, it's like, it's almost an overload of information. You know, there's so many different podcasts you listen to, videos you watch on YouTube. It's just like, you try to take in as much as you can. Honestly, like, I don't know that it helps. Like, you know, I mean, it does to an extent, but it's, you won't really know until you get there.
You paint yourself in a corner. I mean, that's the thing too, is, you know, you gotta, with fishing in general, but let's talk just awahi in general. I've been so focused on trees for the last, let's just call it a year, right? That like fishing the breaks or the old river channel breaks, it wasn't even a thought to me. But I'd hear like my buddies, oh, we caught them on the breaks. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm on the trees. There's some, maybe it's because that's how I started fishing it out there was like live scope in the trees.
You have confidence in it.
Exactly. Yep. But then this, you know, 2 weeks ago when I went out there, I was like, I checked the trees. There wasn't much going on, caught like one under off of it. And then I'm gonna go check this break thing, like this inside turn break thing, you know, and sure as shit there, that's how it was. So, but that's one of those things that like you're saying, you learn and you go, okay, there's more to check out.
Yeah. And going to those NWT tournaments, like it'll teach you, because everyone there is so good. They're so good. Like maybe you didn't think about the breaks. Well, there was 40 other guys that knew about it and the trees. And then there was another 40 guys that knew about the river channel, something up north, you know, or like but you go and you learn. Like, even if you lose, you learn, right? Like, how'd they win it? And it's all, you know, you hear stories, this, that, oh, he won it up here, he was doing this. And then it kind of starts to click in your head. Oh, okay, now. And then the next time you go, you get to go check that, right? You get to go check that out and maybe practice it a little bit and then just add that to your bag. And I mean, that's how this NWT thing is such a process. It's such a long game. You know, it's not there's very, very, very few people that hop in it and just go and are very good, right? And then those people are definitely out there. But like, there's also a lot of value in the guys that have been doing it for a long time and been on these bodies of water and have experience with all these different places and, you know, different bites and different baits and techniques and everything. So like, it's definitely a long game kind of thing.
Yeah. What's crazy is some of the spots I checked water temp on were, just going back to how much it changed in just a few days. They were sitting at like 51, 52 further south, like by Walt's Bay and New Everett's, that area. 51, 52. And then when I went back there like 5 days later, it was like 59 to 60. So that water temperature came up like, let's just say on the low side, 7 to 8 degrees in just a matter of 4 or 5 days. I mean, it was.
Don't take long.
No.
Yeah, it can all change very fast. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're fishing the whole thing this year. Your plan is to continue fishing the whole thing every year until, you know, maybe it doesn't make sense.
Until I win one. No, yeah, I mean, that's the plan, right? I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, it's hard. And I talked to my buddies about this too. Unless you can come in and win tournaments right off the bat, like these big tournaments, like it's expensive, right? And so like, how do you get sponsors? Well, you have to do them and you have to keep doing them and you have to get better and you have to place well and you have to like, you know, like it's, like I said, it's such a long game of getting the sponsors, getting the people to help you pay for certain stuff, fuel, whatever. You don't get to just hop right in and get all those things. It takes building relationships with companies and, you know, teammates and this and that. And so it's kind of like, yeah, man, it's like I feel like I'm starting to get there, and like, it'd be a shame to just call it quits now, right? Like, I'm building towards something, right? And that's kind of the goal, is just to keep building until you get to a point where, you know, it's a little bit easier to pay for everything, or you've been to all these bodies of water multiple times now and you have ideas going into the tournaments. It's going to put you at an advantage, right? Like, like if you were to go to Erie tomorrow and I was going to go to Erie, like I already know, you know, 100 spots to go to, you don't. So like, obviously that's an advantage. And like, I wouldn't know that unless I would have done it the last few years. So it's like, yeah, the plan is to continue on. We'll see, you know, I don't know how long I'll do it. I do it now. Should I? Probably not as much as I do. Like, it's not ideal, right? Like, I don't do it because I have all this free time and all this extra money, and I'm like, maybe I'll go blow it on an NWT. No, it's like I do it because I love to do it, and I feel like I have an opportunity to do it at the time. Or like, do it now, right? Like, we have another kid or something in the future here, or God knows what happens. But it's just like it probably gets a little bit harder to pull off, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like I feel like I can do them right now. I'm gonna do them until like you said, until it doesn't make sense anymore, So maybe that's the end of this year. Maybe that's 6 years down the road. I don't know. I'm just signing up for one at a time as we go and just kind of riding it out, seeing how we can do.
When are you leaving for the next one?
Probably Friday, I would say. So a few days, Friday after work, I would say.
Heck yeah. You pumped for that?
Yeah. I don't know how it'll be. I have never been to Big Bay, but I've fished Green Bay. Similar, obviously. It's just like North Green Bay, kind of. No, I don't know. The alewives thing, you just hear horror stories. So who knows? They say they're not as bad up there, but it's still not going to be easy. I mean, looking at the schedule this year, I kind of assumed this next tournament was going to be the most difficult. I hope it's not more difficult for me than Oahe. I know some guys did fine on Oahe. I did not. I struggled. So hopefully it's, I don't know. I think it'll be a little tricky for sure, though. It's not going to be a cakewalk by any means.
Did Gage sign up?
I know the answer to that. I'm not going to say anything about it.
I need to ask him.
You should ask him. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, it should be fun. I'm hoping. Well, I haven't even gotten in yet. They're kind of short some co-anglers from what I've heard.
Saw that.
Yeah. So hopefully we get some more co-anglers and get in and should be fun.
Yeah, heck yeah. So then after there, what's the last one?
Oconto.
Oh yeah,
Green Bay. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun one. I went to Oconto. Well, I went to Green Bay for the first time last year for the championship, and that was one tournament where I went there the first time and did pretty good. I think I took 18th or whatever. That was the whole one-day shootout championship situation that they had. But same thing though. Like, I struggled all pre-fish. It was brutal. Everyone would agree with me. It was brutal. It sucked. 1 fish, 3 fish, 2 fish. I'm just like, well, I might zero. Same thing. Going to the tournament, I'm like, I might zero. And I went out and I figured it out. And it's just more just put your nose down and grind them, right? Like, and if you grind them hard enough and you know what you're doing and you know where you're at, like, have the confidence you'll get them. So, but I'm looking forward to going back to that one. That'll be a fun one again. Like, especially now that I know a few places and I know where guys were that did really well, and like you just learn this stuff, right? You just get more knowledge about each place, which helps you. So
yeah, no, for sure. So one of the things we like to ask is like, what tips do you have? I mean, there's been a ton of tips throughout this, obviously, but are there any direct or tips that you would give people that not necessarily tournament, it doesn't have to be about tournament fishing, it could just be about fishing in general, or heck, anything you want it to be about, crane operation, but something that you could tell people that are just kind of tips moving forward with their fishing careers?
I knew you were going to ask me this to some regards, and I honestly didn't even think about it. Now I wish I would have. I would say when it comes to tournament fishing, I know Gage kind of said, the forward facing thing, and he wasn't wrong, but I will say, I don't know. I will say that in the tournament fishing world, you're far better off making friends and, being an all-around good person, meeting as many people as you can, getting as much information as you can. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to talk to the guy who thinks he's better than everybody and kind of holds his head up and, you get more information, you get further along, you meet the right people. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know, type of thing. And in this industry, just like it is with a lot of other industries, right? Like, be a stand-up person that companies are going to want to represent. Because at the end of the day, they have thousands and thousands of people that reach out to them asking for free stuff and asking for this, but like they got to get something back, right? So like you want to be somebody that they want to have represent their company, and I think that goes a long way, and that helps you in your fishing career, right? Like your competitive fishing career, like the sponsors, everybody wants the big wrapped boat with the stickers and the jerseys and the this and that, and it's like it doesn't come very easy. So like do the right things, never be afraid to meet people, talk to people. Like I talked to you, just some guy sitting at the bar, said hi, how's it going? And I've met a new person who has a podcast, and we get to chit chat about walleye fishing. Like it's great, but like don't be nervous to kind of go out of your comfort zone and meet people and explore new things and different companies and different fishing stuff and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's a million different options when it comes to that stuff, and, use the products that you do use too. You want to be confident in the fact that they're good. Don't just use stuff to use stuff that they give you for free. Don't pipe stuff just because they give it to you for free. Like, I'm a big believer in like using the stuff that you actually believe helps you do well.
Yeah, that goes a long ways with those companies too. If you go into it already using the stuff, if those are the companies someone approaches, he goes, hey, I've been using 13 rods, or I've been using Shimano reels or for my whole life, or whatever it is, and I really believe in these things. Those companies are more apt to like start a relationship with people that aren't going, hey, I want to represent you. Well, how many rods do you have? None. Well, I'll see you later.
And a lot of it too is like people just want stuff for free. Like people want stuff overnight, right? Like that's just not how it works. Like you have to build relationships with these people. I've been working with this company kind of out of Montana here, this local company, Swait Fishing.
Yep.
I mean, I used their stuff for years and then kind of got to know them a little bit. And that was a couple of years of getting to know each other, and hey, they give me a rod here and there. And now we're friends, and I like supporting them, and I hope they like supporting me. Like I hope I'm doing them justice, and
for sure.
But you know what I mean? Like it took a few years of like being in a relationship, like, getting to know each other, and like, hey, I can help you out if you can help me out. And like, that's how it is with all these things. It's not just that fly by night. Hey, can you send me this? Can you send me that for free? And like these companies hear that day in and day out from everybody. And it's like, it's not the way to approach it, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like,
that your boat wrap looks sick, by the way. I know you said it was the first year you wrapped your boat, but it does look sweet with their logo just like taking up half of that lund. And is it like what's the camel pattern that you have on there?
Mossy Oak Bottomland.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, I didn't want to guess, but it's sweet.
Mossy Oak Fishing. So I reached out and asked them, and they were like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like, wrap it away with some Mossy Oak." So they hooked me up with that, and
they you said something that like really kind of, I don't want to say hit home, but resonates a lot, and that's for me that experience was cool because of the fishing side of it, the competition, like seeing it all, like just the whole process of launching and the weigh-in and the rules meeting and all that was really cool. But like far more to that, what I took out of it was meeting people like you. I mean, it was like, I can just say like, I got to meet some really freaking cool people. And so what you're saying definitely is not something you're saying that's BS. You believe it and you live by it. And so I appreciate that you brought that up. Just be a real person, be a good person. And that was my experience with you for sure.
It doesn't take much. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't take much, and it can help you out along the way for sure. So
yeah, absolutely. Cool, man. We'll let you get back to it. Let's keep in touch here. Good luck, man. I'm rooting for you for sure.
Awesome. Appreciate it. And definitely keep in touch, and I'll let you know the next time I come down to South Dakota. So
yeah, we'll connect for sure. I was talking to Gage, and I'd like to make it out there at some point. I've never fished pack, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'll stay away. Yeah, I'll bring my cranking rods.
Yeah, there you go. No, it's if you've never been, man, you should. It's definitely worth the trip. It's a cool place. So very cool. And it's definitely like, it's similar to Wahi, but it's not similar at all. It's completely different, even in its own regards. Like it's the same, but it's not the same. Missouri River Reservoir. But it's definitely a lot different. So it's cool. It's unique.
We'll have to do one in the future where this is just kind of an idea, but we could talk about different bodies of water and maybe get a couple guys on that know Wahi on one show, and then a couple guys on that know Pack, you engage, knowing, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cool, man. For sure. Sounds good.
Cool. Have a good night.
Yep. Thanks, Dave.
Later.